Are you looking for a stakeholder communication plan template? Well, if that's the case, then you've come to the right place because today I would love to share with you a communication plan that I've been using for several years now and I've been updating and refining over the years. Now, I do just want to quickly mention that I have made this template available for download, and you can get that in the first link in the description below. And I'll also be including a couple of extra templates as part of that download, such as a stakeholder register and analysis matrix, which you can also benefit from as well. Now, that will be paid, but I've tried to make that as affordable as possible around the price of a cup of coffee, and it does also help to support the channel as well, so I would appreciate it if you did proceed. But other than that, I will now be showing you exactly how to create this communication plan template from scratch if you did just want to quickly follow along and build it yourself. So of course the first thing that you need to do is work from a brand new Excel document. If you've got a Mac, then you can also work with numbers, or you could also do this in Google Sheets as well. The process is exactly the same. So the first thing I like to do is to select a font. I always work with Calibri, which is why it's selected for me. And I would suggest that you go with that or one similar, just because it looks really, really professional. So the first thing I like to do is give the document a title. And the reason for this is just anyone who kind of opens this up knows exactly what this is and what it's going to contain. It's really clear, it's really, really obvious. So I like to make this really, really large, and I like to put this in a grey, because I feel like that's just like quite a nice colour for this. It's very, very professional. We'll go for a little bit of a darker grey there. Now at the top, I'd recommend adding a few key content areas. So an area for the project name, a project manager name, because it's always useful to know, typically in charge of the stakeholder comms plan. You could put a client name if you're working with an external client, but that's not always required. And then I would put a project overview here as well, just to describe what pertains on that particular project. It's very, very useful for anyone who's just picking this up. It kind of will help to understand the communications that are going to be included. So we've got a project start date here. We'll put a project end date in as well, and then naturally we'll have a project duration. And we could put a formula in here. We could do something like equals days. End date will be here, and then we could put comma that in there. And then basically when this starts to be populated, then this will update with the number of days. At this stage, I just like to bold these, and I like to give them a little bit of formatting just to make them pop a little bit. So let's put this in a grey, let's put this in a grey, and then all I'm going to do at this stage is just put some all borders around each one. And actually we'll merge these two, just give this a bit more of a content area, and it gives the anyone who's working in this document just an idea that they need to perhaps add some more information or put some outside borders here. So we will be turning the grid lines off later, but we are going to use those to our advantage at this stage. Now what you can do at this point is you could just put this in again here. Not always necessary, but I do just like to have this included. And then I'll work with this in a moment. But what I like to do also at this stage is just give this a slightly darker grey, and then I like to put the next level, or the columns, in a slightly lighter grey, and I just feel like that kind of contrast just looks really, really nice. Now it's a matter of building the columns out. So the ones that I would recommend are method of communication. And actually, before we do that, let's just select that row, and we're going to wrap it as well, just so that it appears on multiple lines. So I went to the home ribbon and I click wrap, and I've done that on every single cell, so that if the line is too long for the column, then it will just drop onto the next row. Oh, it will stay in the same row, sorry, but it will drop onto the next line, I should say. Now I'd suggest having something like a description or purpose of the communication. Now this is really, really important for various reasons, and it makes sure you're actually sending out valuable comms. If you don't do this, then it can just help you kind of analyse and review exactly what you're doing, really, and it does just help in that respect. So description, purpose of communication. Then it's important to provide an overview of the frequency, what everyone can kind of expect. Or at least it helps you manage your own workflows as well. Audience, you could put stakeholders in here. So who are you going to send this comms to? And you know, who are you building this for? You know, why are you doing this? So this is a very, very important column and data point to pull out. Owner, who's in charge of this communication? Is it going to be yourself as the project manager? Is it going to be somebody else? Format, so here, maybe not one of the most necessary columns. It does kind of overlap with column B in some respects, but is this going to be an email? Is this going to be virtual? Is it going to be paper copy? You get the idea. Just how is this communication going to be kind of drafted and created? And then we've got communication start date. So really important so that people, well, you're aware of when this should begin. Is it immediately? Is it in the future? And then we've got an additional comments column as well, where, as the name suggests, you can just provide any additional comments or commentary pertaining to the comms itself that you may want to document. I'm going to delete these. I don't need these anymore, and I'm going to select from column B to I. I'm going to merge and center to put that into the center. I'm now going to select all of these columns. I'm going to put these in the lighter grey, which is that one. Make sure they're all bolded, and I'm going to middle align and center. Now at this stage, very little left to do. It's just building out the borders. So I've done that. I selected from B8 through to I25, and I've just gone to the borders at the top, and I've gone on all borders. Now there's various different border styles you can put in. You can make them a little bit kind of fainter, and they can look really, really good. But for the interest of time, I think this will suffice, and you get the idea. Now the final thing really there is to do is just turn off the grid lines. So click on View, uncheck grid lines, and you'll see that this template is now ready for you to use. So I hope this video is useful. If it was, please hit the like button. That tells me I should continue recording videos like this. And do consider picking up the template from the description down below if you haven't already. If you've got any questions, comments, feedback, then drop them in the comment section as well. I'll get back to you on those. I'll read every single comment. I'll get back to every single comment. And do consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And maybe check out my channel. I've got loads of other templates, particularly project management ones that you may need to create, so it's worth checking out. And with all that said, I hope you have an excellent day.